Morning, everybody. Oh, I gotta back up a bit. I didn't brush the teeth yet. Didn't pluck the knee hole. It is Aloha Tuesday, and let's get some positivity on your social media feed. You know, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, go watch them, because there's 3 things that we covered that are decisions that we make that make our life and challenges that we're dealing with a lot more difficult. So go check them. I'll give you the first one because I want to tangent off the first one, but you have to figure out what the other 2 are. Now, the first one is complaining. Now, before I get into this, I want to leave this on your page before I forget. It's something where today's message is on adapting, because I think a lot of the complaints that I see and hear, now first and foremost, everybody has a legit reason to complain, especially now from frustration, being overwhelmed, anger, fear, I can't put food on my table, losing money. All of these things are legit. But that doesn't mean that it's going to change the situation. So there's one thing I want to read from here if I can find it. And for all you boaters and you sailors, you may have more of a connection with this. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. Okay, the wind, the world isn't going to change for us. We have to be able to adapt with the situations around us. That is going to be the way to get through it. Rather than sitting in the back and just complaining, expecting our complaints to adjust the world to our needs and wants and situation, it doesn't work. For example, as a hula dancer, you go onto stage. Now, for you as the audience, you may be thinking that I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna dance about this beautiful story, I don't know, about Pele and Hi'iaka, and I'm gonna dance this story for you. You may be thinking dancing, for me personally, but I would think as a hula dancer, my mentality is that I'm not dancing this for you. First of all, it doesn't matter if you're in the audience or not. I'm trying to become this story. In essence, I become Pele. In essence, I become Hi'iaka. In essence, I become these winds. If I'm doing these motions, and this is talking about the wind, I have to replicate, or whatever that fancy word is, I need to become the wind. So I need to adapt with the story around me. The story doesn't adapt to me as a dancer. If I take that example and I put it into paddling, as a paddler, you're in the middle of the water. And the water is not gonna go by what you need it to go by. You and the way that you paddle in the water, if you want to be the fastest and get to the end of that road, or end of that course and pass that flag first or whatever it is, you need to adapt with the conditions around you. If the water is flat, the way you paddle, the long stroke, power all the way through, out at your hip, that may change if the water is more rough. You may have to either adapt with a longer stroke, or you may have to adapt with shorter strokes, faster pace. It all depends on the conditions of the water, which means you as a paddler is only going to be successful to the extent that you adapt with the conditions around you. That makes sense. As I said that, another thing popped in my mind. I know Jesus says in the Bible someplace, Bible book something, verse chapter something, something. The measure that you give will be the measure that you give back. Oh! See what happens when you read the Bible? You can pull these things out from the top of your mind if you can remember them. The measure you give is only going to be the measure that you give back. So just imagine, if you're only going to complain, do you expect positivity and change and adaptation to come back to you? It's not. So complain. We can complain. I'll be legitimately honest with you. On these videos, I don't complain. I try to be positive and share the positive through the negatives that I deal with. Either before I push record or after I push record, I'll complain, but I'll do it to myself to get it over with and try to find the positive, and that's what I like to share, because that's production. That's moving forward, not staying in the same place or not even moving back. Do you know that when you think God forgets about you and you think that you've been sitting in the same place forever is probably the time God is working the most within you? You just can't see it. I'll leave that on your positivity feed on this Aloha Tuesday. I think today's more of just kind of like realizing what is, and having the decision, or having the drive, the force, the want to have a better outcome. So if you have the want, you need to decide and make that choice that is going to happen. You make the decision, God will follow it through. Have a great day. I never know what I'm going to say. Have a great day. Aloha, ahui.